What's going on, everybody? So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the top 7 most frequently asked questions I get from newbie real estate investors. So if you're a new real estate investor, you're going to want to say all the way to question number 7. I've basically compiled this list from having worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of new real estate investors. So before we jump into this video, please smash that like button below because it helps the YouTube algorithm. And that being said, let's jump into question number 1. So question number 1 is, do I need a real estate license to be a real estate investor? And the easy answer is no, you don't. You can do wholesale deals, you can do rehab deals, you can do rental property deals. You can pretty much do any type of real estate investing deal without needing a license. Now, that being said, I would highly recommend getting your real estate license for a couple reasons. Number 1, it's very easy to get. I think when I first got my real estate license, I might have studied for maybe a couple weekends and took a couple practice tests and then passed the exam. It's a pretty easy exam to pass. In fact, it's shockingly easy. Being that it's the largest investment of most people's lives, you would think you would have to go to school or take 4 years of this, 2 years of that. But it's a pretty easy test to take, and it's not that expensive either. So the next reason to get it is that you'll have MLS access. So if you're a real estate investor and you're trying to pull comps on a property, it's going to be very difficult to just ask a real estate agent to do that for you and get you the comps in a timely manner. So you really need to have your own access. And sometimes you can work with another agent and be like their secretary, get secretary access, and they have different, there's different loopholes and things like that. But you need to have your own access one way or another. It's going to make your life a lot easier. And then lastly, the third reason why you want to get a license is going to make your business more profitable. So you're going to get leads sometimes that are not going to fit the investor model. In fact, most of the real estate investing leads that you're going to get are not going to fit the investing model. They're going to fit more of the traditional real estate agent model. So you can either refer those out for a fee or some type of commission split, so long as you work it out with the other agent. Or you can take those leads on yourself and get some listings and some buyers out of it. So it'll just give you another income stream. And not only that, but when you're making offers on properties, you can factor in the fact that you might be the listing agent, which could easily save you $10, $15, even $20,000 per transaction, so that you might be able to pay a little bit more and still have a very profitable investment deal. Okay, so question number 2 is, how do I finance the deal? New real estate investors, that's always on their mind, and it should be on your mind. You need to be able to, if you find a great deal, the last thing you want happening is not being able to actually complete the purchase. So I'm going to give you 3 different strategies to finance your first flip or your first couple of flips. Number 1 would be the obvious. If you have a job, in some cases, not every fixer-upper property is going to need a complete gut renovation. So many times you can just use a conventional loan. Now each lender is going to vary, but if the property is not in terrible condition, and sometimes they're super motivated sellers and the property is actually in pretty good condition, so that's one option, just looking at a conventional loan to get the deal done. The second option would be hard money lenders. So the way a hard money lender works is they'll charge you typically a few points, and they're going to charge you a higher interest rate, usually around 10 to 15%, to give you money to purchase a fixer-upper property. And this is a pretty common investment strategy. And the thing to know with hard money lenders is that each hard money lender is going to have different ways of doing business. So some are going to be very easy to work with, some are going to be very difficult to work with, some are going to have 15% interest and 5 points, while others might just have 1 or 2 points and then 10% interest, let's say. So with hard money lenders, you really want to shop around and find the best rates and find the easiest people to work with. And the thing I like about hard money lenders, even though they're typically the most expensive, number 1, they're going to usually tell you whether or not you have a good deal or not. So a lot of new real estate investors think that think that their first deal or two is always the best deal ever. And a hard money lender will tell you pretty quickly whether or not it's a good deal, because they've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of different deals out there. They're also very flexible. So whereas a traditional lender might take 30, 45, even 60 days to close on a property, and they might need different repairs, a hard money lender is basically just giving you cash, and some can close in as little as 10 days or 14 days. It just depends on the lender. So they're very flexible and they're very fast. So, and a lot of real estate investors use them, so you should definitely, check out a few. And the third source of funding is what's called private money. So this is my favorite because it's typically the lowest rates, the most flexible, and it's just a win-win for both parties. And the way it works is like this. There are plenty of wealthy individuals, wealthy professionals across the country that often have their money just sitting in some 401k or some IRA, or maybe even just a checking account that's not getting a very good return. When in fact they could be investing with you and making maybe, let's say, 8 to 12% secured by the property. So if the individual understands real estate, or maybe you can just explain to them that, look, you're buying properties at a discount. Your money is going to be secured by this discounted property. And all you're doing is you're bringing the property up to the current market. You're not expecting some crazy appreciation. In fact, you might be more on the conservative end and say, look, the comps are right here, but we're going to kind of go for the median of the comps. We're not even going to try to sell it for the top level prices, just to be on the safe side. And so even if everything went wrong, that investor would still have, the property secured in first position. So there's a lot of value in that because it's hard to find secured investments of any sort. And always do your own due diligence. I'm not any type of financial advisor or anything like that. But it's a great, it's a great way to find money. And the best way to find these private lenders is just by asking around and networking with different real estate professionals. The way I found several of my private lenders was just asking different mortgage professionals, just traditional mortgage professionals, if they know anyone in their company that does hard money lending, because it's kind of a similar business. And I can guarantee you that your lender, your conventional lender, will know someone in their company or maybe in a different company that does hard money lending. And the great thing about them doing hard money lending is that they're going to be a lot less strict than a typical hard money lender and a lot lower rates as well. All right, question number 3. How do I find a deal? Everyone always wants to know how to find a deal. Well, there's proven strategies of doing that. My favorite way is direct mail. And I have entire videos just on finding deals, but I'll give you a couple quick tips with direct mail. So you only want to market your direct mail to motivated sellers or potentially motivated sellers. And that would be, maybe people with high equity in up-and-coming neighborhoods. That could be pre-foreclosure. You do have to be careful. Some states have different pre-foreclosure laws against marketing to them. Probate, inherited properties, tax liens, different things like that. A great resource is listsource.com because you can go in there, you can find properties that have high equity in up-and-coming neighborhoods, have been owned for at least, let's say 15 years, and then you can market your direct mail only to those people, and that's how you're going to find great deals. Like 99% of the sellers out there are not looking to sell at a discount. They probably don't want to sell quickly or anything like that. In fact, most sellers, they want like $1 million for their house. Maybe you're aware of that, maybe you're not. But to find the motivated ones, you really have to target your marketing very specifically, and then you have to get at least 25 of these seller leads to find one deal. But if you can make your phone ring just 25 times per month, typically you can find one really good discounted off-market deal. Another way to find deals is just by networking, going to meetup groups, going to RIA groups, going to any type of real estate investing group and just building your network. The more you build it and the more you meet people that are in the business and tell them that, hey, you're looking for deals, they might have a deal, they might know someone that has a deal, they'll keep you in mind. So you can build up a list of like wholesalers or other real estate investors, and they'll start sending you deals. Sometimes other real estate investors, even your own competition, they might have too much on their plate and they might say, hey, this deal is not for me, but maybe you want to check it out. Let me know what you think. We'll work out some type of assignment fee, or maybe they'll just like refer it over to you. A lot of your so-called competition, they want to work together, almost in partnership sometimes. And there's many ways to partner on deals, with like private lending, different types of joint ventures, co-wholesales, different things like that. So there's a lot of options. And then a third way of finding deals is just looking through the MLS. Maybe you set up searches for as is, foreclosure, inherited, needs work, handyman special. You can set up different keywords and just keep an eye open for different properties and different deals. And you can call the agent, see how flexible they might be. And a lot of times, properties are overpriced and you can get the seller down quite a bit. So keep, a lot of people say the MLS is too competitive, but if you're strategic about it, you can definitely find a couple deals, every month or at least every year. Question number 4, how do I know if it's a good deal? Well, there's 3 different ways to know if it's a good deal. Number 1, you should be using the 70% ARV maximum allowable offer formula. And the way that works is you just take the ARV, the after renovated value of a property, you multiply that times 0.7 to give you that 30% margin of profit and commissions and everything like that. And then you subtract for the cost of repairs. So if a property was $300,000, if that was the after renovated value, multiply that times 0.7, I think that's $210,000. And then you subtract for the cost of repairs. So if it needed $50,000 worth of repairs, you subtract that and you get $160 as the maximum allowable offer. And if you stick to that formula, most properties are not going to come anywhere close to that formula. However, most properties are not going to be good deals. But when you get a property that's at that formula or even around that general formula number, chances are it could be a very good deal. The next way to tell if it's a deal is using a deal analyzer. And you can download one for free on my website. I'll put the link below. But sometimes properties are not going to meet the ARV 70% formula, but you still might make like $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000, and the property might not need a ton of work. So there might be less risk with that. So you could still, by using the deal analyzer, you can factor in, especially if you're a real estate agent and you're using private money, that could save you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 per deal just right there. So be sure to check out my deal analyzer. And then lastly, if you still don't know if it's a deal or not from using the ARV and a deal analyzer, just ask another real estate investor what they think about it. If you're friends with different investors, which you should be networking and things like that, another investor is not going to waste your time. They're going to tell you whether or not they think it's a deal typically. So use those 3 strategies. Question number 5, do I need money to invest in real estate? And the easy answer is no, you don't need money whatsoever. You need a little bit of money for marketing and maybe like $500 or $1,000 earnest money deposit. But outside of that, you really don't need money. I mean, it would probably be easier if you just had millions of dollars sitting around in a bank account. However, I've done plenty of deals where I didn't bring basically any money to the table. With wholesale deals, obviously you don't need any of your own money because it's another investor that's going to be closing on the deal. And then with rehabs, if you have a private lender, if you find a great deal and then you ask, a couple of mortgage lender friends, hey, do you know anyone that does hard money or private money lending? Oftentimes they might bring 100% of the money to the table and you wouldn't have to bring anything. So you definitely don't need money to do real estate investing. However, obviously it would help. And you should, be constantly building up your resources. Maybe, apply for different lines of credits from local banks, extend your credit card lines. You want to build up your resources just as much as possible. Question number 6, should I join a real estate coaching program? And I would say, yes, absolutely you should. Because the cost of a real estate coaching program, and obviously they can be pretty expensive. I mean, there's some that you can pay like $50,000 for a real estate coach, essentially. However, if you're serious about real estate investing, the cost of a coaching program is going to be significantly less to the cost or expense that you could lose out on if you don't have a coach. I've done plenty of deals where I wasn't in a coaching program and I lost out on a ton of money. Whereas if I had a coach, if I had a mentor kind of showing me the way, I probably would have gotten the deal done and made significantly more. And what I also like about coaching programs is the fact that if you invest money into any type of program, you're probably going to take it a lot more seriously than if you just watch a YouTube video, read a book. So the fact that you're paying for a coaching program is going to make you work a lot harder. I know the coaching program that I joined, I paid a significant, 5-figure fee. And I was waking up at like 5 or 6 a.m. I was studying and then I was implementing all these strategies. And then I also had a mentor that kind of showed me what to do. I could reach out to them. So it was very beneficial. And if you're looking for a real estate mentor or real estate coach, I've actually developed a couple different programs which are available on my website. The link is below. Or you can just ask questions on this YouTube video and I'll probably just answer them for free, of course. But either way, I think you should definitely get a real estate coach. Question number 7, should I go to real estate auctions to find deals? And I would say this, auctions are pretty interesting and pretty cool. You see a lot of things that you just typically wouldn't see on a day-to-day basis. But as far as getting good deals, I would stay away from them. And I don't know the exact quote by Warren Buffett, but if you look up Warren Buffett and auctions, he says it's just never a good idea. He's not even talking about real estate auctions. He's just talking about the auction principle in general. He says something along the lines that, people always overpay at auctions. Because, it gets emotional. You see your competition right there and you're so close to getting the property. So just try to stay away from auctions. And not only that, but the 10 years I've been in the real estate investing business, all of the top investors, they almost never go to auctions. And they say pretty much the same thing, there's no deals at auctions. And everyone has their own strategy. There's always ways to make different strategies work. But generally speaking, I would try to stay away from auctions. Okay, so I said there were 7 questions, but I'm actually going to give you one more question because people just bombard me with this all the time and I see it in social media and different places like that. So people ask, does real estate investing still work? Everyone thinks that their market is the most competitive and that last year was the best time to find deals and that there's never going to be any more real estate investing deals in the history of the world. They think every good real estate investing deal is gone. And when I was first getting started as a real estate investor, I actually believed that. I thought just because, I got this deal in this one county or this deal in this other county that that was there was no more deals in that county, at least for another month or so. And I could not be more wrong. If you're doing marketing and you're doing networking and you're consistent and you're getting at least 25 different leads every single month, you're going to find deals no matter how competitive the market is, no matter what the economy is doing, no matter what someone on CNN or Fox News says, no matter what your real estate agent who's never done an investment deal in their entire lives has to say, because oftentimes they'll tell you, oh, there's no more deals. When they have no idea what they're talking about. They've never done a real estate investing deal. And there's a lot of people like that will tell you negative information with basically zero experience. So you need to be very careful about where you're getting your information from. And that's another reason why I recommend joining some type of coaching program, because someone that's an active real estate investor is going to have a much different opinion on real estate investing than some real estate agent that's never done an investment deal before, or someone like your neighbor who just has like an opinion on real estate because they watched the news one time. So be very selective with where you're getting your information from. All right, so thanks for watching this video. And if you have any questions whatsoever, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer them. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, bye.